All right, y'all. Let's get it popping and chopping, y'all. Baby, let's catch this vibe. All right, y'all. It's Saturday morning with your boy KEVDACOMIC and friends. It's time to catch this vibe, y'all. All right, so for all those that missed the interview yesterday, for everybody that missed the interview yesterday, we had a chance to speak with the ex-wife of Kel Mitchell, Miss Taisha Mitchell, and she has agreed. Good morning to you. Give me just a second. She has agreed to come back and actually be a little bit more formal today. We caught each other off guard yesterday, so we're gonna allow her to introduce herself, and we're gonna get it popping and chopping. So please continue to share the live, y'all, and notify everybody that we on. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. Absolutely.
Can I let's get the formalities out the way? If I can get you to introduce yourself to everybody.
Sure. So my name is Taisha Mitchell. I am Kel Mitchell's first wife, and I was married to him for 10 years. We have 2 children together, and I am just actually blessed that he's able to give me the material that I need to talk about what domestic violence looks like after you break up. So,
what are the ages of the children now?
I don't want to, because that's just good. It's just
I understand. I understand that. I get it.
They're over the age of 18.
They're over the age of 18. I can dig that. I can dig that. So the kids are grown now. Correct. So you had a chance to. You have seen the interview with Club Shay Shay.
I haven't seen all of it, but I have seen parts of it.
Oh, you've only seen clips, so you haven't seen the entire interview.
No, I haven't seen the whole interview. No.
Okay. So I've seen the entire interview.
Okay.
And there was some parts that stood out to me. He did. There were some indications, right? I'm gonna just jump right into it. There were some indications early in the video that were. When he started speaking about the relationship and the divorce, who filed for divorce?
Kel filed for divorce.
Were you in agreement to that divorce? Were you shocked by it? What was your reaction?
I was extremely shocked by the divorce because before he filed for the divorce, he was supposed to be working on his sex addiction, and we were supposed to be working on our relationship. And so it was extreme shock to find out that he had taken the children to his mother's house, and he told everybody, and his parents, and my parents, my family as well, that I was on drugs and I was a prostitute, and that he couldn't watch the children. So he left them with his mother's house, enrolled them in school in Chicago. Also filed for sole physical custody and filed for divorce.
So he filed for custody and divorce.
Correct. And he actually had multiple restraining orders to restrain me away from my children, even though like I said, this was all out of the blue. One day he took the kids first. I didn't know that he had filed for the divorce and filed for the restraining order until I had to get the police to pick my kids up from Chicago, because he had gotten he had filed for divorce and gotten sole legal and sole physical custody by stating that I was on drugs and I was a prostitute. And so he used that to get sole legal, sole physical custody, and he had filed that restraining order in Chicago, so that when I got to Chicago, it would be difficult for me to get the kids. So the police told me about this restraining order.
So when you were served with the divorce,
I was never served with the divorce.
You were never served. So
never.
How was he able to do that? Because there have to be proof of service in any proceeding.
Right. Well, I mean, in many cases they do. Usually they do have to have proof of service, but in this case, they don't. Once you get an attorney and you decide, like, okay, fine, I'm going to answer this divorce. I had no idea he wanted to be divorced. We had talked about possibly getting divorced, but that we would never use attorneys. But so that's why it was very shocked to me. So I was very shocked. Like, what? This is nothing like what we talked about at all.
So prior to the filing, was there any like fallout, disagreement, argument,
He was just becoming very, very, very physically abusive, and he was upset that when he was becoming physically abusive, I would call the police because I'm like, I need to have a record of this because I felt that he was going to try to kill me. And, nobody would have known anything if I didn't keep this record.
So there was, what you said you kept a record. What record did you keep?
I just called the police.
Okay, you called the police.
Yeah, I called the police. Yeah, every time, most of the time that it would happen, I would call the police. And I started keeping a detailed record of the physical abuse because I was scared for my life. So
there were actual police reports filed in regards to the abuse.
Absolutely, yes.
And you have those?
Well, yeah, I just posted them today.
Oh, so you just okay? So she just posted the police reports in regards to the abuse.
Well, not all of them, but some of them. Mm-hmm.
You mentioned a sex addiction. At what point in your marriage did you realize that he had a sex addiction?
When he kept cheating with everybody. Like, he was cheating with our publicist. And he's the one who told me that he had a sex addiction. I didn't know that he had a sex addiction until he was caught with his publicist. And I was in extreme shock because he would tell me that I was fat and tell me that I needed to lose weight. And I was running around the Rose Bowl I was doing Taibo. I was running like 6 miles and I was eating freaking lettuce and cucumbers. And then I find out he's cheating with his publicist who's like, I don't even know, like 280. And I was just very pissed off. So
the sex addiction, was that a self-diagnosis or was there...
That was a self-diagnosis. He told me he had a sex addiction.
Okay, well, I mean, look, if I get caught cheating, I'm going to tell you too.
Exactly right. That's exactly right?
Yeah, you catch me cheating, I'm addicted.
I have a sex addiction. Yeah, I'm addicted to it.
Yeah, I'm addicted.
Right. That gets sympathy, right? That gets the sympathy.
Yeah.
He was like, I've been having sex since I've been 10 years old. I'm so sorry. It's like, well, he never told me he had a sex addiction. I didn't know he had a sex addiction. He's like, that's why there was the prostitutes and all that, because I have a sex addiction. So I did. I felt really bad for him. Like, oh my gosh, I know that he was,
So you started gaining weight after the children?
I don't. You know what? I look back at these pictures when he was telling me that I was fat, and I was not fat. I just can't even believe that I even believed that I was fat. It just really pisses me off now, more and more that I see it.
Which came first, the calling you fat verbal abuse or the physical?
The physical. The verbal abuse started, and then I would just be like, you know what? He's just insecure. I couldn't figure. I just was like, you know what? He's just. I don't know. So the verbal abuse started, and then he also started drinking heavily. And then after the drinking, the physical abuse didn't start until I talked to him about him being with a man. And then, I talked to him about, whether or not he was bisexual, whether or not he was gay. Then the abuse became physical.
Okay. So, whoa. Okay. Okay. So, when you say you questioned him about being with a man, was there something that led you to believe that he wanted to be with a man?
There were just things that just just didn't make sense. Just little things that just didn't make sense. We went to this party, and this guy grabbed my butt, and somebody in the industry, and Kel was really Kel really wasn't that drunk, but the guy was really drunk, and I was very pissed off because that's I'm your wife, and you let somebody touch me inappropriately, completely inappropriately, and he did not say anything, and then so I'm getting pissed off, and then the guy tells to Kel, man, I'll fuck you both. And then Kel still says nothing.
So the guy tells him that he'll smash you both, and he says nothing. The guy touches you inappropriately, and he says nothing.
Yes. and looks right at him and tells him this, like looks directly at him and tells him this. And I'm so angry and I'm pissed off and I'm just like, this is just like, you know, you can't protect me. Like, this is just unbelievable. I just can't even believe this is even happening. Cause I'm so, like, I couldn't understand why he wasn't as angry as I was. And he was like, he was just joking around. Like, that's not joking around. That's not joking around.
So do you think that there was anything from his childhood that created the confusion as far as his sexuality is concerned?
Well, I don't know if there was any confusion about it.
There's a little bit of confusion. And the reason I say confusion is because, you know, if you're vacillating from one to the other and you're not, you know, coming out or not even, you know, acknowledging it, to me, that's an indication of some form of confusion.
But what if you just like both? Then it wouldn't be confused.
I wouldn't know.
Like, you know, like sometimes I like grapes, sometimes I like strawberries, but sometimes I like watermelon.
No, I just like cherries. That's all.
So, which to me makes sense, but you know, it made sense with a lot of different things, and you know, a lot of different things that he wanted done, like sexually, and all these different things. So it made sense, but you know, when I'm asking you about it over and over again and you're telling me no, but then someone says this and looks you dead in your face like he knows something. And then I'm asking you about it and you're just acting like I don't know what I'm talking about. So in order to get me to stop talking about it, then that's when the physical abuse started. Because I was just like, this is like, you need to tell me this. Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm your wife. Like, I couldn't get it.
How old was he when he started doing the childhood acting and the Nickelodeon and all that? How old was he when he got into the business?
Well, I think he's been acting, I think, since around 10 or 11. He would do different plays and things. On Nickelodeon, I think he was 13 or 14. But while he did that, his parents lived in an entirely different state. So they stayed and lived in Chicago while their 13, 14-year-old was with random adults in Florida doing a TV show. So, you know, that definitely opens doors for whatever, right?
During your marriage, were there any incidents or was there anything that went on? Because I did see a clip where you know you let it hang out a little bit. Was there anything that you saw?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Well, when we first got to Orlando, the set guys made us fake IDs. So almost every one of the set guys would make us fake IDs, and they would get alcohol, they would get drugs, and they would, you know, have parties, and it was partying with children. So, you know.
They were partying with children?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I don't know, like, when people are young and, you know, the Kardashians and all these little kids, and they're, like, everybody knows their age, but they're at parties, they're drinking alcohol. Like, it's not fake alcohol they're drinking. They're getting in, like, we were in clubs, we were not, you know, like, everyone knows how old people are, and they're in clubs with alcohol.
Is he an only child? Does he have siblings?
No, he has siblings. He has an older sister and a younger sister.
He has an older.
They're a lot older, like 15 years older, 15 years younger, somewhere in there.
And how's your relationship with his sisters?
Oh, terrible. You know, it's just, some people are just really fake, and, you know, his whole family is fake, I believe.
Do you think was there ever a point that y'all got along? Because y'all were married for a while.
Everybody got along in the beginning. We all got along in the beginning. His older sister was my best friend. His older sister and I, we had great times. Kel wanted to invest in her, wanted to buy her a condo while we were married. I didn't have any problems with that. And then, you know, saying, no, that's our money, we're married. No, I didn't say any of that. We invested in her salon. I actually owned 50% of her salon. I could have been evil, right? I could have taken that. I never even touched it. So, and the fact that they did not talk to their niece and nephew. That's my problem really with them. Because whatever the heck is going on with us, or whatever they think is going on with us, it shouldn't have anything to do with the kids. So that just showed me that, who they are, what their true character is, which is just like Kel's.
I did come across a post where your daughter, because I think the relationship has been a little strained for a minute now. I saw a post from last year where she indicated that he only paid for certain things and only looked good on paper, kind of thing. Did he pay you child support? Was there?
No, he didn't pay me child support. So he paid something. He didn't pay it to me. So I had to be on welfare because we didn't have anything. He had taken all the money out of the accounts, and I was getting sick at the time, so I had to get on welfare. And during that time when I got on welfare, then that's when the child support department got involved, and they started intercepting his payments and intercepting his checks. And then, so those payments actually went to the child support department. They never actually went to me. But that's when he started paying something. So I think there are credits for that, but yeah, he's never paid me directly anything. He refused to. He was supposed to pay for the children. He was supposed to pay for 50% of everything, but he intentionally, made their lives and our lives horrible by cutting off medical insurance. Oh man, this man has just taken away their college savings from themselves. Like, this is just taking away my daughter's wedding fund, using it for his wedding.
Okay, so let's address it. So your daughter had a wedding fund, and
yes, a wedding fund and a college fund.
How much was in it?
I honestly don't know how much was in it when he took it out, but it was started with somewhere between $30,000 to $50,000.
It started out at between $30,000 and $50,000.
Correct.
And so when you guys got a divorce, he took those funds as well. Correct.
And there were numerous, all sorts of court orders where those funds were not supposed to be touched by he nor I. And so when my son's getting ready to go to college, and I'm like, oh, good, well, you could go to whatever college you want to go to because, you got tons of money in your college savings. Because my son was doing acting, so he had close to about $300,000 in his account because he did commercials. He was doing his own thing. So he had a lot of money in his account from when he was first born. So, $300,000 from 19 years ago, 18 years ago, that should have had a lot of money in it. And so he completely just, deleted that account. And the fact that he didn't pay child support, the fact that he didn't pay spousal support, or didn't pay for any of the kids' other expenses, I just assumed that he left those accounts alone, right? Like, you're getting all the money. And he got all the money from all the stuff that I created, Kel Videos Live and Ganked. He got all the money from that. He wasn't paying child support, wasn't paying spousal support. So, like, I don't even know why you did that. Like, he sold the house. You do all this other stuff. You take all the money out of the bank accounts. So
when he sold the house, what did you do after that? Did you move into an apartment? Did you move back with your parents?
No, I spent $2.5 million on fighting for the house, and I won the house back in a divorce. And Kel has been found to be fraudulent, and that he committed fraud with malicious intent and breached his fiduciary duty to the marriage. So Kel was found guilty after 3 trials.
Do you guys still have pending litigation?
No, there's no pending. Kel has already been found guilty for that. The only pending litigation is for the money that he owes me. Because he so much more stuff was done after that, and then there's all sort of interest that he owes me for everything that he needed to repay back from when he didn't pay.
So what as far as the kids, because I know the kids are grown now, so
yeah, the kids are grown now. Mm-hmm.
But even at I believe that kids still benefit from the parents getting along with each other even after they're grown.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a reason why parents don't get along. Like, no sense. That makes no sense. You laid down, you had children with this person, like that is just the most crazy thing because you guys made children. There's no excuse for that. None. There's none.
How long after your divorce did he get remarried?
2 years.
Okay, that's pretty reasonable. It's not, right. He didn't just jump right back out there. As far as marriage.
I mean, that's when they got married. They were together 6 years or so before that. So I don't know.
6 years before that, that means y'all were still together when they got together. So did he cheat? Did he cheat on you with her?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, okay. So he cheated on you with the wife that he's with now.
Yes, and so many other people. He did. I mean, Kel cheated with everybody. Like I said, he cheated with a lot of people. It wasn't like he cheated with her. He was faithful with her. No, he was dating a lot of people.
Were you dating anybody? Did you see anybody during the marriage? Did you sleep with anybody else during the marriage? Did you have a boyfriend during the marriage? A work husband? What kind of work do you do?
No, nothing like that. Well, I do a lot of different kinds of work, actually. But during the time that he and I were married, I was trying to go to school to become a mathematician. But instead, I stopped all of that. I joined Kel's rap group. I got signed to Interscope. I was writing.
I guess I should have done more homework on you.
Yeah, I was writing stage plays. I was writing screenplays. I sold a TV show called Just Get Married. That was the very first pilot that I'd ever written. Got that sold. Was supposed to have been on Warner Brothers, but they said that I was too fat, and they replaced my character with Brandy. But then the show didn't get picked up because they replaced the character with Brandy. Because, everybody knew her as Moesha, so it's like that wasn't going to work. And once Kel started, once Kel told the networks and did what he did, then they blacklisted him, and they even put out stories saying that he was dead. So then nobody in Hollywood would work with him. So all I did was just focus on writing scripts and writing and we actually got one of the first, would have been the first streaming deals for $10 million. And where we had to just do one movie a year, where Kel only had to be in the movie for 15 minutes. And Kel didn't understand what streaming was. And at the time, he was talking to somebody who told him that he was going to be in Blockbuster. I'm like, there's not even going to be a Blockbusters. But he didn't understand technology. He didn't understand how it works. And he turned down that deal, messed up our entire, he just comes to the meeting. We're getting ready to sign it. I'm like, oh my gosh, finally. And this man comes in that meeting and says, I don't think I want to do it. It's like, I couldn't even. All this effort, all this time, all this work that I put into this, it was so great. And we had 97% royalties. That is just unheard of.
So you were very business minded when it comes to all that. So you were in the business as well. So
well, he wasn't into business. He could not write. He was illiterate. So he couldn't.
Wait, slow down. Okay, so are you saying that Kel Mitchell couldn't write? He was
illiterate.
He couldn't read either?
No. No, he could not.
So he couldn't read or write?
No.
That's surprising. That's amazing. I got to admit.
Honestly, I didn't know until I had no clue that he couldn't do any of this until he wanted to write a letter to my parents in his own handwriting. I'll post it later. He wanted to write a letter to my parents in his own handwriting, apologizing to them and, saying, I'm sorry, I want to, make all this stuff right, because I had gone to my parents' house because he was physically abusing me. And I went to my parents and I was just like, I just can't do this anymore. And so he had written a letter and that was the first time I ever even, I guess, paid attention to it,
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, he doesn't even know how to spell my name. He didn't even know how to spell my name. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
So how did he read scripts? I mean, did somebody read the scripts to him? Did he?
But they do, yeah. Everybody, so they go in, they read the scripts. I mean, I'm sure he knows how to do sight words. So, I think reading is sounding out words, reading words that you don't. So I was teaching at one point as well. But so anyway, reading to me is not just, like knowing what the words are when you see them. It's actually like having a new word in front of you and being able to sound it out. So he knew sight words.
You said you saw parts of the Club Shay Shay interview. What parts did you see?
I saw parts when he said something about, she had all these multiple abortions.
Let's stop right there. Because that part right there kind of pissed me off. So I want, that's important to me. Because whether it's true or not, I just don't think that it's appropriate for a man to be discussing a woman's medical anything.
Right. I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
So he said that initially, his indication that he was dating someone at the time. He found out that you was pregnant. That relationship with her ended. If I'm understanding it correctly, I could be misunderstanding. And then he found out you were pregnant. You were even starting to show at the time, and decided to terminate.
Right. Yeah. That whole entire story is ridiculous. If he was talking about me, which I think he was trying to allude that he was talking about me, because he's like, if you start off the relationship with a lie, like, what are you talking about, man? None of that happened. I wasn't even having sex with Kel until he told me for certain that we were going to get married. That was the very first time I had sex with him, and I was pregnant that time. That was the only time that I was pregnant. And before that, I hadn't had sex. So there wasn't anybody else. Couldn't have been anyone else. There wasn't a time that I was pregnant with this child and decided to have an abortion. That never happened. The child that we have is the child I was pregnant with is the child that I have. I've never had an abortion. It's not that I don't believe in abortion for me, because I don't think kids are children. If you're, laying down having sex and you agreed to that, then you know the consequences of that. So I agree that you have to, just like I do with everything else, that I take accountability. So I also thought it was pretty funny. Like, wow, that's very interesting. You are this concerned about, you made up an entire story because he knows that that's a talking point. He knows that that's what gets people angry, especially men. She had an abortion. Oh my gosh. And she had an abortion and the baby wasn't his. Like, those are two things that seem to stir up a lot of emotion from certain communities.
So at no time during your whole interaction, I'm sitting here reading. I'm looking at the comments from my chat. And they want me to ask.
At no time.
You've never had an abortion.
Never had an abortion. No, we never had an abortion, and that's why it's so crazy that Kel would even bring that up, because I already have the medical records. Because Kel would physically abuse me when I got out of the hospital. In order to prove that, I had to pull the medical records. So I already have the medical records. So you lie about so much stuff that can already be proven. It's crazy. Like, I don't know what he thinks. I guess he thinks that just because he has the larger audience that he's going to be able to fool people, but you're not going to be able to fool people. Good always outdoes. Truth always wins.
Yeah. He also alleged that there were 2 pregnancies through them. I guess he's indicating one of your kids, because how many? You only have 2 kids, right?
I have 2 kids with him.
Oh, how many you have altogether?
I have 4 children altogether.
You have 4. So you've had 2 children since him.
Correct. Just like he has 2 children since me. Man,
gotcha.
What are you talking about?
Gotcha. How long after the divorce or after y'all separated did you have your first child?
It wouldn't matter. We weren't together.
No. Context kind of matters.
I'm not going to talk about the ages because it's not important. It's not, it doesn't matter.
I got you. Well, I'm not going to press you to answer a question that you don't want to answer. Yeah, that's not my goal.
When Kel took the kids to Chicago and Kel filed for divorce, the relationship is over with. So, that's all. He shouldn't even have talked about anything that didn't have to do with him, including children that don't have, like, I don't talk about, you know, anything that has to do with his other children, nor have I ever brought them up. So, you know, he should definitely, I think that should be out of respect. But obviously he doesn't respect me. He doesn't respect his own children. So no, he doesn't get to talk about who I talked to after we broke up. You don't get to.
Well, you know, and again, I got to be fair, right? Because timeline matters. So if that's what.
It doesn't matter. Once you broke up, you're broken up. If the relationship is over, then the relationship is over. You don't get to talk about who you were talking to after your relationship is over.
I got you. I got you.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just, you know, you don't do that. No, you know, I don't have to talk to him.
Why do you think that he would? Why do you think that he would go on Shannon Sharp and create this kind of stir? Because y'all have been divorced for a minute, right?
Yeah, because I'm about to win the lawsuit. So he wants to keep everything. And, you know, there's domestic violence in the lawsuit, so he wants to try to create a reason as to why he put his hands on me. So for some reason, it seems that people believe that if you say someone's cheating, then that's enough reason to put your hands on somebody. This has been Kel's thing all the time. Like, once an abused man said, "Oh my gosh, she was cheating on me," then everyone's like, "Oh wow, that's why you put your hands on her," and they just go with it. So this is something that Kel has known that he has used in the past to create sympathy and to be able to dismiss the fact that he was very physically abusive. And somehow, you know, people are like, "Oh my gosh, she was cheating." So that's why. Like, no, sometimes people do things because they don't want stuff to come out. Sometimes people do things and the other person didn't do anything. That's the thing I think people really need to understand, that there are tons of people in this world that lots of people do things to that don't deserve it, period. So he wants to try to make up a reason as to why he was this terrible instead of just taking accountability. Like, I was just immature. I wanted to work on my relationship with Asia. I wanted to, you know, start fresh. I wanted to start over. Just take accountability for it. Don't go and lie.
So, okay, so with his interview on Club Shay Shay, he alluded to there being not just one but more than one instance of cheating that was on your part.
Right.
I didn't hear him indicate any cheating on his part.
Right, of course not now. But before he talked about it, years ago he talked about it. Yeah, I was cheating. I had a problem with sex. Oh, and yeah, I have the interview. So he's talked about this. All of a sudden now I'm the cheater. Okay.
Was there ever a time where you initiated the like interactions, the social media interactions, or the posts, or the comments, or?
No, I have not interacted with social media until I talked to my children, who are both over the age of 18. But Kel Mitchell has been on social media since 2006. Through MySpace, through Musical.ly, for years. Facebook, he's been on social media for years. So no. So I got on social media after my children turned the age of 18, when I realized that Kel was not going to stop lying.
So the case that you have that's pending now, that's coming up for adjudication soon? You say he's getting...
It is, yes. I'm going to be filing my paperwork pretty soon, and there'll be a new lawsuit as well.
Did you file for a summary or?
I'm filing for I'm filing for a summary judgment.
So it hasn't been filed yet, but you're getting ready to file.
No, it hasn't been filed yet, but it'll be filed.
What is his relationship now with the kids? Because again, I did.
He doesn't have a relationship. You know, he does not.
Not even with your son.
No, it's a fake relationship. They think of him as like I don't even know. They have a terrible relationship. He's not, you know, he doesn't even care about his relationship with his children. Like I said, some people don't understand. They don't get it. They're just not those kind of parents. You know, they only can think about themselves.
What would you like to see come out of all, because I've checked all of my social medias, and this is his interview on Club Shay Shay is really starting to generate some steam. Clips of the interview and the biggest parts of the interview that's creating some steam are the stories that he shared about y'all's relationship.
Right, and that's so crazy to me because that's and that's to me is also sad because what he said, lies about children that don't even exist, lies about things that did not exist, when in reality he did everything possible to make sure that his kids' lives were miserable and still has not done anything to repair it or pay it back or even acknowledge that it happened and that it was his fault. Instead, he's gotten on throughout social media, lied, talked about alienation, knowing that he had joint legal and physical custody, knowing that he had regular visitation schedules. It's ridiculous.
When did the physical abuse in the relationship start?
Shortly after my daughter was born. Maybe my daughter was 3 or 4.
Yeah, because you said y'all were together a couple years before y'all had your first child, a year and a half, 2 years, something like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like we were kids. Like I don't even know a guy.
So the physical was That's a good point though. So was the physical abuse in his younger years or as an adult as he matured?
They were in his older years. I mean, like I had my second child by the time I was 20. So the physical abuse started shortly after I was like probably when I turned 21, somewhere in there. So after we were 21. I found it disappointing again, whether it's true or not, and this is for Kel, whether it was true or not, to discuss you having to terminate a pregnancy, to me was a bit vindictive. Very vindictive.
To me it seemed a bit vindictive, whether it was true or not, because it seemed to be trying to paint a particular picture. And I don't think that it serves a man well to disparage the mother of his children in public.
Correct. And not just the mother of his children.
Well, any woman, but especially a woman that you have children with.
Correct. But not only. I mean, to me, it's like okay, mother of your children, that could be part of it. But like I changing your toothbrush every 3 months. Making your doctor's appointments. I'm, taking care of the house, taking care of the kids, having a hot meal every single night. So what are you talking about? And not only that, but writing TV shows for you, giving you years of all of my material, and allowing you to take credit for the stuff that you didn't even write. So
are you upset about that?
Absolutely. Because you don't do that to people. It's one thing to go and abandon your kids. That's one thing. So that's one part of it, right? And then you're going to go and pretend like I'm this terrible, horrible person. That's ridiculous. And that my family, too, nobody supported you. When all of our faces, all of the places that were used in all the videos, everything that I had written were all only my friends and family. None of his friends and family, they refused to be a part of it.
What's your relationship like with his mom?
Horrible. Terrible. She was very angry because I did not want her taking money to be used for her brother who murdered their niece or cousin or whoever. And I thought that was ridiculous. Rape and murder, I don't care if that's your brother. And he says he didn't do it. He's in jail for that, and our money should not be used for that. That's ridiculous. Absolutely not.
Did you have any fallouts or interactions with his mom?
Oh, absolutely. Well, when Kel took the children to Chicago and told the mother all these lies and all these stuff about me and said that that's where the kids were going to stay and the kids were going to live in Chicago with her, and I called his mother and I'm like, okay, well, I plan on going to go pick up the kids. I'm like, how come you're not allowing me to talk to my children? That's what it started with. It started with his mother ignoring my phone calls to talk to my kids. And then from that point, I think I just started calling every hour. And then I called at 5 o'clock in the morning, like every hour. And then finally she was like, you're never coming out here. You're not going to see your kids again. They're going to live with me in Chicago. Kel's getting a divorce, all this stuff. And so when I went to Chicago to go get the kids, she could have just given me the kids. I mean, they're not her children. I don't even know that. She didn't even, let me tell you, this woman hadn't even seen the kids. She had not seen the kids maybe since Allure was born. My son Lyric was born. She probably saw them when they were born. And then after that, she didn't see them ever. So they didn't even know this lady. So, you know, so for her to all of a sudden think that she was going to even do something like that is crazy. I would never do that. Like, my son and daughter ever got into a thing and they were like, here you go, here's my grandkid, I'm about to go back to California. No, you're about to sit and talk to the person that you created this child with. Like, I just wouldn't even get a part of it. But his mother, you know, completely took her son's side. She was tired of me. She didn't like me anyway after I took away the right, you know, the fact that she was taking Kel's money and putting money aside for herself. And so she did not like any of that. And she was angry at that point. And then because she told me that, I had to come to her house with the police. So they were angry. They wanted me to apologize for coming to their house with the police and with the Muslims because they refused to give me the kids. And then they even lied to the police when the kids got there. And so the police were outside their house for hours. And it put us, you know, made a scene and made them look really bad. Well, you should have just given me my kids, you know?
I remember you indicating that they filed some type of action against you. What action did the grandparents file?
A grandparental visitation.
How did that turn out?
They lost. There's no such thing as grandparental visitation. Their son, Kel Mitchell, had visitation. He decided he was not using his visitation, and he was responsible for their relationship. I'm not responsible to force a relationship for him, you know, for his mom. Like, he had visitation, he had custody because he didn't exercise it. That has nothing to do with me, so she shouldn't have sued me for that, but that cost, I don't know, about $120,000 in attorney's fees. And it was dumb.
No, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I was just saying it was just dumb. It was a very dumb thing to do. She could have also just picked up the phone. She actually could have talked to them anytime she wanted to. I gave her their phone numbers, but it's just about control for these people. Some people, it's just about control. They're going to try to control everything. Like, no, we don't want to have the relationship with them. We just want to control them and keep them away from you when, you know, it's just dumb.
Did they win that case? Did they win that case?
No, they lost the case. There's no such thing as grandparental visitation.
Gotcha.
It doesn't exist. Now, if Kel was dead or something, or if he was in jail, or if they had a relationship with the children before the divorce, and then, you know, it's like sometimes what happens is that sometimes grandparents, like, for example, my parents took care of the kids a lot. They took care of them a lot of the times. So let's say I moved to another state, and then all of a sudden I just don't talk to my parents. Well, then my parents could possibly sue me for grandparental visitation and say that the kids need to visit with them, you know, on the weekends or something, and they should visit with them once a year or something like that. But that never happened. And Kel's parents never tried to have a relationship with the kids after they lost the lawsuit. So I knew that it was fake anyway.
So, and you never moved away from them where they didn't have access. Y'all all lived in the same state, same area, that type of thing.
We lived in the same house that Kel sold inappropriately. That lawsuit took 12 years. So he knew exactly where we were because we were in the lawsuit for the house, and the courts gave me the house because the house was my sole legal and sole fiscal property. So I did not leave from that house until like 2017. So, you know, it's crazy that Kel says I didn't know where they were. My parents have lived in the same house for over 40 years. He knew where that house was. My grandmother lived in the same house. My sister, all these people lived in the same house. For years. So that's a complete lie. Like, everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie. to try to make himself sound like, dude, we lived in the same house. We never moved houses. There was never a change of houses. We lived in the same house.
You know, it's tough to wrap your mind around a lot of this. You know, again, I've been through the divorce as well. And it was contentious at times. And we're just now getting to the point to where we're able to communicate. And without centering myself, because, you know, again, I understand how it feels to go through this. I thought it was a bit egregious of him to say some of the things that he said, even if he was going to talk about the divorce or the marriage or even some of the things that have happened. I think his answers could have been a little bit more articulate to where it didn't, you know, attack the mother of his children. Shannon Sharp kind of led him down that road, though.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't understand what's wrong with being authentic and what's wrong with being natural and what's wrong with being, you know what? Yeah.
I believe in every story, though, there's bits of truth and there may be bits of what
I disagree. Yeah, I disagree because some things are not bits of truth in it. Sometimes people are just blatantly lying. You know, all the stuff that he's talking about, it can be proven. So it's like you're blatantly lying. There isn't truth. If you believe something, you know, sometimes what happens is men believe things. And I've noticed with dealing with men that are insecure about themselves is that they don't understand, like he didn't understand why I even was married to him. So he was constantly questioning whether or not I was cheating on him, even though we were together most of the time. I mean, I don't know if you said you haven't seen the stuff that we had, the other videos, the Kel videos live. Videos, nothing. We were together all of the time. So it's completely insane that he would even say anything like this. What was his
relationship like with Nick Cannon? I want to get into that for a second.
Oh, okay. So, well, I mean, I thought that they were really good friends. I thought he was like his little brother. But now that I'm older, I'm kind of like, I don't know what was going on. I have no idea. But yeah, I mean, after seeing Nick in my trip, I mean, Nick Cannon used to come with us everywhere. Nick Cannon would come to my family reunions. He would come with me to my cousins' houses. Like, he was at my parents' house multiple times. And everybody treated Nick like he was like Kel's little brother, like part of the family. But then when I saw him in my trading outfit,
okay. That's kind of funny. All right, so explain the situation. Explain how you caught Nick Cannon in your cheerleading outfit.
Okay, so I was coming home one time. He did not think, because I told him that I was done with him. I was leaving out. And I completely forgot about some of my clothes and stuff that I actually wanted, that I needed. One of them would actually be my cheerleading outfit, because I would audition because I was a cheerleader. So they would need cheerleaders for different roles, and I would wear my cheerleading outfit. So anyway, so that was actually one of the outfits I was coming to get. So I opened up the door. I didn't think that he was there. I thought that, you know, once we had broken up, he was going to be, I don't know, probably out with his friends or something. But I heard a television. I thought a television was on in the guest room, and I go inside, and I just, you know, it's kind of like a hallway. The door was kind of cracked. The door was not all the way closed. It was kind of cracked open a little bit. And so I go inside there, and I walk in, and I see Nick Cannon on the bed in my full cheerleading uniform. Kel Mitchell is in the bed under the covers, kind of like part of his body is sticking out. I think he might have a tank top on or a t-shirt.
You lying to me.
Man.
Okay, go ahead.
Nick Cannon's little skinny little legs, and he had on socks. I remember he had on socks. He did not have on my socks. He had on his own socks. But then when Nick did this little cheer, he showed me that he had my boxer briefs on as well. And that really kind of bothered me, because I was like, oh my gosh, this man went in my underwear drawer. Like, he actually would have had to find my boxer briefs. And that made me think, like, Well, because some of my stuff would be missing. Some of my stuff would be, I would think other people were touching it, and it was just me and Kel living there, besides Nick when he would come and spend the night over there. And then it just all kind of just started making sense. Like, oh my gosh, how much of this? So then the relationship changed after that. Well, Nick did the little cheer, and then he was like, I'll bring them back. He promised me, he swore to God that he was going to bring them back. And he left in my cheerleading outfit. I think he just put on some Jordans or some shoes or something, but he had on my full cheerleading outfit when he left. And he promised me he was going to dry clean it and bring it back. And he swore.
he said, I will take this to the cleaners real quick. You lied to me.
He told me to take it to the cleaners. He swore to God he was going to bring it back. Honestly, I want to say maybe it was the next night, because usually he would come at night to our house and spend the night there. The more and more I keep telling this story, the more and more I just keep telling this story. Whoa. So yeah, he would come, he wanted to come over the next night, and I told Kel he better not answer that damn thing, because I kind of felt bad. But he was like, I had to sleep in my car, and I'm like, well,
Well, okay, so what about the barber?
Yeah, so Kel had a barber friend that he was good friends with, and Kel was bald at the time, actually, and he had this barber, and the barber, he told me he was really good friends with the barber. Anyway, I surprised Kel at the side of the Parkers, and I walk in. Well, I didn't walk in. I opened the door. And I saw Kel getting smashed.
Wait, hold up. Wait. You can't just move past that. You can't just move all along to keep telling the story. Okay, so you walked in, and because you make it sound like Will Smith and Dwayne Martin type.
Listen, there's really no reason to have dressing rooms like that at people's sets, where it's like, I just don't know. I just had to start thinking about everything differently. But yeah, it's like, so yeah, I mean, it's pretty well known that people, co-workers and different people have sex in the dressing rooms. So that is a pretty well known thing. That's why they call it the casting couch, because a lot of times people wouldn't get roles unless they did these things with producers and people.
Okay. So was Kel the giver or the receiver? I'm just asking a question.
Kel was backing it up. Okay, he was on the bottom, which even made me number one, I hadn't seen two men having sex, and so it was really eye-opening.
That would have been eye-closing.
Wow, this is crazy.
No, that would have been eye-closing.
I was eye-opened because it made so much sense, because Kel wanted to do a lot of things. One time he brought home a rape bench. Another time he brought home a sex swing. So that just made sense. And then he would tell me stuff like I didn't believe in giving head. And so he was like, that was a problem and all this stuff. And sometimes he would tell me I don't know how to do it right.
Yeah, that would be a problem. No, I'm just playing.
Well, I mean, I get it. So that's why I was like, hey, have a prostitute do it. That's fine. Hey, you like anal sex? Okay, have a prostitute do that.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Well, I'm just saying, that's what I told him. I'm like, hey, look, if that's something that you really enjoy doing, I'm never going to be comfortable with that. But if you're going to enjoy that, then yeah, get a prostitute. Get somebody else to do that. I'm not doing that.
So you had no problem with him being, I guess essentially, according to you, bisexual. You had no problem with that?
No, hold on. I didn't have a problem with him cheating with women. I had a problem with him being bisexual, yes. Because men don't use condoms. Men don't use condoms. A lot of men don't use condoms, and that puts me at a health risk.
So, yeah, a lot of men don't use condoms with women either.
A lot of there's going to be breakage and there's going to be tissue issues. And so
that is nasty.
You know.
That is nasty.
Well, that's the truth. That's the truth. So men carry more sexual diseases because you're going into an opening that's not supposed to be, used for that purpose. That's an exit.
So according to you, he had a relationship with the barber, and you walked in on an awkward situation with Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon. That's a big name. Yeah, that's a big name.
People didn't never wonder why Nick Cannon. I mean, Will Smith gave Nick Cannon $1 million or something. Will Smith was. I mean, with everybody knowing what's going on, Will Smith had his only, school for boys like Diddy. So I don't know.
That's a huge conversation, because especially with everything that's going on right now in the climate that we exist in right now.
People gotta start paying attention to what's going on. Like, these people aren't saying stuff about Will Smith, and these people, they're not just saying stuff to be saying stuff. Nick Cannon his Gigolo song was through, right? He was signed to Will Smith's label. He lived with Will Smith. So, I start putting a couple of 2 and 3 together, and make it.
So, okay, as of now, because right now, I'm sure he's going to be responding to your responses. Because is my platform the only one that you've spoken to so far?
No, I've spoken to a couple of other platforms.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be responding to your responses pretty soon.
Is it Nick?
No, Kel.
Oh, okay. I'm looking for Nick to just tell him, man, if you can make a replica of the skirt, something. I don't think Kel's going to respond, but we'll see.
Yeah, evidently.
I put the proof out.
I'm believing that there had to have been something that set this off. There had to have been like a moment of contention or.
Oh, no. This is the thing. Kel's trying to get free publicity off of my content, because Kel's doing Mystery Men too. And so this is, so anytime Kel does a movie, he's going to go into the hospital. He's going to do something that's going to make people think about him, because it's free publicity. It's free marketing.
Oh.
So this is a marketing ploy to get people to talk about him, so then people will start seeing the movie Mystery Men. The second one.
Hell, I didn't see the hamburger movie. The cheeseburger, whatever the hell it's called. I ain't seen that.
No. This man, this is what I'm saying. These kind of people plot and plan stuff out. No, this man plotted this out. He wants. And I've done a very good job of keeping him in the media with my TikTok channel and all this stuff. So he keeps going to that. Because, he's not, he really can't go to anything else. I mean, it's not like him saying he's a pastor and a minister. He knows that really doesn't sell. What sells is baby mama drama. She was pregnant by another man while we were married. This whole, he's trying to take away from the fact that, his contracts might, have issues now. I mean, what Kel doesn't know is that people can take him out the movies. And there's already been evidence that he was committed domestic violence. I don't know why he's doing this.
I mean, I just thought it was tacky, in regards to the whole.
No, this is defamation. This is defamation with proof of it. Like, you're saying stuff that a judge has already concluded that has happened. So you're creating defamation. It's a violation of my constitutional rights. It's fraud. And Shannon Sharp and Club Shay Shay and whoever else is disseminating that same information is part of domestic violence. It's part of coercive control, it's part of domestic violence, and they will all be named in my new federal lawsuit. Because it's ridiculous.
She said she's suing all y'all ass.
Yeah.
Shannon Sharp, she talking to you.
Yeah, Monday you'll be served. I'm not playing about this, so it's ridiculous. And I'm actually going to show all women how to do it, and men how to do this as well. Like, you don't get to do this. You don't get to go around and just completely lie, especially on topics that have already been decided. You don't get to do that. So, you know, you should definitely be held accountable, and anybody else should be held accountable for producing the defamation when they could have fact-checked this. All they had to do is look at the final judgment. We had 3 trials, so all they have to do is look at what the judge said.
And all because your divorce is final, so that's been adjudicated.
They have to adjudicate it. So it's like, dude, just look at it. You don't go out here saying anything. Don't go saying anything like this without paying attention to what the record has already shown. So you're responsible for, you know, continuing on domestic violence. You're part of domestic violence when you participate in it, when you help it, when you continue it, and when you contributed to it.
And y'all been divorced how long now?
I don't even know. Well, we both have been divorced since 2010. So.
So y'all got divorced in 2010. So y'all been divorced for 14 years. 15.
Correct.
So, and when y'all got divorced, he was what, 14? He was in what, 35, 30 something?
Yeah.
You know, so I do believe that people can change, right? I do believe that his experience in the relationship with you could be different than his relationships going forward, right? Because y'all were extremely young when y'all got together. When y'all got married.
I love Kel. I care about him. I really.
Well, no, I say that. No, I'm saying that to say that I don't think that it's necessary. Even though there may have been instances of domestic altercations in your relationship, doesn't necessarily mean that he's had them going forward. And so I want to be careful to not attribute that to him, because he's married now with children. And right, so I don't know if that's something that has perpetuated into the relationship he has now.
Well, I don't know about the relationship with his new wife, but
yeah, correct. That's what I'm saying.
What Kel is doing now to me is called a smear campaign, and that is domestic violence. So, and everybody who is part of, you know, contributing to the smear campaign is part of the domestic violence. So, you know. Going out, doing an entire video, hours length of complete lies about things that have already been proven in court to already have been true is defamation. So, and that is domestic violence. It's part of coercive control. You're trying to control what people think about me.
Well, I'm definitely going to allow you to speak your story through my page.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
I will be posting the video, the interview a little bit later on, and I'm sure it's going to be picked up real soon. So
I hope it needs to be, because people really need to stop doing this. You know, it's so sad that it takes P. Diddy beating the heck out of Cassie down a hallway for people to realize that she's, you know, telling the truth. It shouldn't take me producing any records. Thank God I even have the records. There's so many women and men that don't have records.
So you said that you posted some of it on your page. Which page did you post it on? Go ahead and let my audience know.
Sure, Deadbeats_ASMR. That page I posted the domestic violence reports.
Deadbeats_ASMR. I'm sorry.
ASMR.
Deadbeats_ASMR. Mars, can one of y'all pin that? Deadbeats_ASMR. Deadbeats_ASMR. That's the page that she's posted on. If you guys want to go and